Hi, this is Tisch Aitken, and we are in eclipse season, and the heat is really on. It is Friday, October 27th, just a day before the partial lunar eclipse in Taurus that takes place at 4:24 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 5 degrees and 9 minutes of the fixed Earth sign of Taurus. This is huge because we've got Pluto squaring the nodes of fate just within 3 degrees. A lot of turning points, a lot of power struggles. Pluto is the last degrees of Capricorn, and we are in Scorpio season, which is incredibly intense. Mercury and Mars are traveling along together very closely. Mars is in its dignity in Scorpio. It rules Scorpio in ancient astrology. It's very ferocious and combative. And Mars is building up to an opposition to Jupiter, which occurs tomorrow at 10:22 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that's a big deal. Right now, we're building up there. We always feel the energy of Mars before it becomes exact. Mercury opposes Jupiter tonight at 11:22 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Mercury in Scorpio is the detective getting to the bottom of things, uncovering information. Eclipses are a time where many things get brought to light. Hidden information finally gets uncovered. Mysteries from years past can get solved, but there is a very, very combative tone, which is obvious. This situation in the Middle East is insane, as we all know. The first eclipse was at the world point, rounded up to 22 cardinal. It was at 21 degrees and 6 minutes of the cardinal air sign of Libra, and less than a degree from the world axis, setting off the Saturn Pluto conjunction that changed the world on January 12th of 2020. Pluto is about power, and it's the last degrees of Capricorn, which rules governments and corporations and people in power, and bringing down the structures in our world and in our lives to change forever. This eclipse set that off directly. Obviously, huge power struggles, and Pluto is the higher octave of Mars, and both are the rulers of Scorpio. Very, very intense, combative, just awful energy in this case. And with this eclipse, with both eclipses, Mars was very strong. Mars had just entered Scorpio on the day of the first eclipse on October 14th, which was an annual solar eclipse, meaning the moon didn't completely block out the sun. And that was a solar eclipse, a new moon on steroids, a time of new beginnings. But there were many endings and letting go, a lot of breakups in the last month as well, a lot of power struggles, a lot of people leaving jobs, a lot of breakup of relationships in general. Mars was on the south node of karma, and even though it was out of sign, the south node was on the new moon eclipse, and Eris, which is the goddess of discord and is Mars' sister, she was right on the north node in Aries. So a very, you know, pugilistic energy with all of that. And now, with this eclipse, Mars is in Scorpio, opposing Jupiter, amplifying that anger and that rage. And Mars in Scorpio is like a dog after a bone. It can be cruel, it can be really, really tough. And Mars and Mercury together can be incredibly combative. It can be really mean words. So even in our own lives, people could say so harsh things. Try to lay low. Tomorrow, we've got the Mars Jupiter opposition. We've got the lunar eclipse at 4:24 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And we want to just honor the energy of releasing the fear, because with the North Node in Aries conjunct Eris, this is about This is about fighting for love. That was the first eclipse, the solar eclipse in Libra. I know all the evidence on the world stage contradicts this. And this awful shooting in Lewiston, Maine. I went to a Goodwill store just before I did this video, and I found a cup. It was the first thing I saw when I walked in. I've actually, believe it or not, I've never been to Maine. I know it's supposed to be gorgeous, and I definitely plan on going this summer, next summer in 2024. My heart is with everyone. That is just tragic. Mars rules guns and violence, and we have heavy Mars energy right now. We really do. And so being aware of the fact, and now there was just another shooting in North Carolina. I saw 5 people dead in a house shooting. And this weekend, a lot of violent, angry, irascible energy. Try to lay low, let go of fear, try to ground. Taurus is an earth sign, but this is emotionally processing all that we've been dealing with. This is heavy. Whether or not you got hit by either of these eclipses, I got slammed by both, but whether or not you did, having an eclipse at the world point, which was the first eclipse, hits everybody. It brings world changing events. It brings a lot happening in a very short period of time. It can raise your anxiety. Venus is in Virgo right now, which can be a little bit anxious. I have Moon in Virgo. I can be prone towards anxiety, but it's very analytical. The Scorpio energy can be very intense. I got some Scorpio too. That's another story. But we have to not come from the lower form of Scorpio in our own lives right now, because people could be vicious with this. With Mercury and Mars together, that's heavy. Okay. I want you all to take care, lay low. The interesting thing about this eclipse, too, is that at the end of the year, Jupiter, which is transiting in Taurus through the end of May of next year, will station direct at 5 degrees of Taurus on December 30th, the day before New Year's Eve. So we'll feel the buildup 5 days before and 5 days after. Jupiter expands, as we can see with Mars in opposition. Maybe this will give you an opportunity to improve things in your own life that are happening right now with this lunar eclipse in Taurus. Maybe it brings more optimism in a challenging situation you're facing right now. And if you recall, Jupiter retrograded on September 3rd at 15 degrees of Taurus at the world point, and that was within a degree of where the total lunar eclipse occurred on November 8th of last year, and within a degree of the total or the lunar eclipse that occurred on May 5th of this year at 15 Scorpio, opposing that. So now we have an eclipse that will also speak, or Jupiter will speak back to this eclipse. Other thing to bear in mind is Saturn is now at the very first degree of Pisces, which it entered on March 7th, and it stations direct on November 4th. We feel the buildup 5 days before and 5 days after. Therefore, on Halloween, we're going to start to feel the pressure, the responsibility. But it's good that it's going direct. It gives us an opportunity to redo Saturn and Pisces story thus far, because I think it's incredibly hard to navigate. It can feel very lost at sea. It's an analogy I've used countless times. I got to come up with a new one, but that's how I feel. And Pisces is a very compatible sign to my own. So I still feel challenges with it. And I wish you all a lot of luck. We need to come together with love. We need to pray or chant or sing, whatever that is for you. We need to open our hearts, and I hope we do. Take care. All right. Thank you.